Hello everyone! In this video, we're gonna cover all the new features and changes included on Windows 10 version 2004. This is the 9th major update that Microsoft is releasing for Windows 10, and it is an incremental update that delivers a bunch of new improvements and a few new features. There is a lot to cover, so let's just dive into it. Before we move on, make sure to remember to check the video description section to get updated information about the release date and the steps to get this new feature update. As part of the lock screen improvements, Windows 10 version 2004 now includes support to authenticate into your account using a PIN while you're in safe mode, as you can see right here. In the past, you were still required to use a password even though a PIN authentication was configured on your computer. Also, if you're having problems signing in, you can now use the Windows key, Control key, Shift key, and the L key keyboard shortcut to start recording and to reproduce the issue. Then you can use the same shortcut again to produce a reference number that you can share it when reporting the problem to Microsoft to get help. As for search improvements, the spell checker technology on Windows Search now intelligently understands and corrects small typos for search queries. So if you type, for example, like PowerPoint, but you make a mistake, if you have that application installed on your computer, it will actually pop PowerPoint instead of not showing a result for that query. In addition, the search experience also receives an update to show related results when searching settings that do not match your query. For example, if you type free space, will show the storage settings at the top with a related label with your search query to help you understand the result. Also, starting with this new version, Windows Search ships with a new algorithm that detects high disk usage and activity to minimize usage of system resources while indexing. This means that to minimize performance issue, the indexer for Windows 10 will now stop or throttle when gaming mode, power saving mode, or low power mode is enabled. Also, when the device is waking up after being in a low power state, logging on, or you go from AC to DC power, the CPU usage goes above 80% or disk usage goes above 70%, as well as when the battery charge is less than 50% or the display state goes to screen off. In addition, there are some new specific improvements for developers to prevent searches of certain repositories or project folders to improve disk usage. Also, Windows 10 now it's updating the indexing behavior to exclude common developer folders such as .git, .ag, .sbn, and .NUGET, and many more by default. If you use virtual desktops, you can now click the header of the desktop to rename it. And you can even add an emoji if that's something that you like. And you can also right-click the thumbnail to select the rename option. Starting with version 2004, Cortana is no longer integrated into Windows 10. Instead, it is an app that updates through the Microsoft Store and provides a new touch-based interface with the ability for you to interact with the system using typing or voice. Now Cortana behaves more like an app, so you can now move it around, maximizes, minimizes, and it just works like an app. The app also supports the light and dark theme available on Windows 10. And because Cortana is no longer part of Windows 10, the setting has been removed from the Settings app, and the only way to change the settings of Cortana is within the app. So now you have to go to the settings, and here you can find a new interface where you can control your privacy settings and how you interact with Cortana, either by using typing or speaking. And you also get access to some of the permissions, but these are just links that when you click on them will open the settings app to control those settings. As part of the File Explorer improvements for version 2004, there is not a lot going on, but now when you right click a folder and go to the give access to, the submenu will no longer have the home group option, as the feature is no longer available on Windows 10. Also in this new update, the Windows 10 logic has been updated. So when you right click an HEIC file, which is an image file, you will now have an option to print and to set that image as a background, as you can with other image file types. This update also includes changes to Task Manager. For example, the Performance tab now shows the drive type such as SSD, which should come in handy on devices with multiple hard drives. Also, the Performance tab now adds support to monitor temperature on dedicated graphics cards, which I don't have in this system, but I can show you an image so you can see how this looks like. So you can see right here that you can see the temperature of a dedicated graphics card, and here on the right as well. Windows 10 also now includes refinements for the notification settings. For example, now when a new notification appears on the desktop, you will see a new inline option to turn off notifications for that application or to open the settings for that notification. Also, if Windows 10 doesn't detect that you have a backup solution, you will see a new reminder, as you can see right here, to use the Settings app options to back up your files. And on this case, that will be using File History or the new option to backup files to OneDrive. In addition to the features and changes, Windows 10 version 2004 is also adding improvements to the setting experience. However, these changes are still in development and you may and may not see them. In my installation, I don't have them, but I had them previously, so I can show you a screenshot how this looks like. So in this new version, we have a new updated header on the homepage for settings, which instead of showing you the status and connected devices after a feature update, it will give you this option that allows you to complete the setup of Windows 10. When you click the Let's Go button, you will see this screen that allows you to set up Windows Hello, link your PC, timeline, and configure OneDrive, among other things. You can always finish now or just skip this option. Okay, so now let's dive into the other changes for the Settings app. On version 2004, now the app volume and devices preference settings has been updated, but you won't see new settings or options. It's just some tweaks on the user interface. So now this section looks like this for each app that you can adjust sound instead of this, which is how it looks before this update. So that's the biggest difference on this new version of Windows 10. In notifications and actions, now there is a new option to disable the post-upgrade setup page under the notification section, which is this one. On storage, now when you look at the bottom of the page, you will find a new option to see the backup settings. In the mouse settings page, you will now see an option to change the speed of the cursor without the need to access Control Panel. In addition, this feature update is adding changes to the optional feature settings to make them more useful, including the ability to select and install multiple optional features at the same time. So if you need to add new features, you can just click the Add button and now you can select multiple features and just click the Install button to get them installed. You can also see in the page that now we have a search box that allows you to quickly find optional features that you want to remove or make sure that you have installed. Also, there is a sort by menu that allows you to sort all the optional features by name, install site, and install date. Also, now it is possible to see the install date for each of the optional feature installed on your computer and the dependencies, as you can see right here on the description section. At the top, you can also see your latest actions, and you can click this option to view a history of your recently installed features. Finally, new to version 2004, you can now remove apps like Notepad, Microsoft Paint, and WordPad, I believe. and WordPad, as you can see right here. So if you don't use those applications, you can now remove them from Windows 10. In the setting options page, Windows 10 now separates the ability to restore apps automatically after a reboot with this option. So as a result, now we get a new restore apps option that allows you to decide whether or not Windows 10 should restore apps that you had opened in a previous session after you sign out and sign back in, or you restart your device. In addition, and perhaps more important, to Windows 10 version 2004, now we have a new option, which is this one right here, that allows you to use your computer without a password. But this doesn't mean that your computer will log in automatically and there is not a password or security measure on Windows 10. Instead, what this feature does is if you have Windows 10 configured with a Microsoft account, you will no longer see the prompt to sign in with a password. Instead, you will be using a Windows Hello option, which it can be a pen, a Windows Hello face, or a fingerprint, or even a security key. So for example, like if I disable this option and if I lock the PC, you will see now that I can use a pen, but I can also switch the sign-in method to use a password. But now, if we go back to the settings and we enable this feature and we lock the PC again, we'll see now that we have the ability to sign in with a pen, but it is not an option to switch to the password option. The status page is getting an update with a new view of active connections and quick access to change settings, as you can see right here. If you have multiple connections, only the one connected to the internet will be shown in this diagram. Also, you will notice that the data usage section is no longer available from the left side, and that's because now you can see how much data is being used right from the status page, as you can see right here. If it looks like you're using a lot of data, you can now click the data usage button, which is actually the option that was before in this section. And here you can create a data limit, as you used to be able in the past, for a particular network. And when you create a limit, you will get a warning when you get close or you go over that specific limit that you have configured previously. And as before, you can see how much data each application has been using on a particular app. If you have multiple network connections, they will show up right here, which you can switch and see those details here too. In addition, the Show Available Networks option now appears as a button with an icon and description. Before, it used to just be a link. And now, at the bottom of the page, you will no longer find the option to access the Networking and Sharing Center in Control Panel using the Settings app. On Windows 10 version 2004, the language page is also getting updated to make it easier to understand your current settings. In this page, you will now see a new overview section that lets you quickly know which language is currently configured. Also, each icon is actionable, which means that if something doesn't look correct, you can click to jump to those settings and update them accordingly. Also, when installing a new language, you will notice that the features are a bit clearer to understand, and when you hover over the icon for a particular feature, you will see a tooltip that will give you more information about the feature. In the Ease of Access section, now you will notice that the cursor and pointer page has been renamed to just mouse pointer, and now we have less settings, but that's because now we have a new text cursor page, which allows you to enable a new text cursor indicator, and this new option allows you to find the text cursor anywhere or anytime. So you can control the size and the colors, and if you want a different color, you can just click the pick a custom color and choose that color that you want, and that will be used for the cursor. For example, now I'm just opening the run command, and as I try to type, you will see now that we have the new cursor indicator. Also, the magnifier page now includes a new keep the mouse pointer option, which you can use to keep the text cursor at the center of the screen, or you can select it within the edge of the screen. Also, there is a new reading section, as you can see right here, which allows you to adjust the magnifier reading modifier key behaviors, and these are the available options. The experience includes 3 new ways to start reading, including play, read from here, and select text. The new version also now includes support for the dark theme on Windows 10, in addition to text sizing options. So now you can click the settings to adjust the speed and the voice used by magnifier. And you also get an option to go to the settings for the magnifier. The Navigator is also getting updated with a new setting to change how capitalized text is read, as you can see right here. So you can choose from don't announce, increase speech, or say cap. Under this section, you will now find a new option to allow experimental features using Outlook. Also at the bottom of the page, there is a new get image description, page title, and popular links option, which allows you to decide whether to send information to the Microsoft servers to get information about images and link using the Navigator Control-D keyboard shortcut, or the page summary using the Navigator S shortcut on a web page. In the permissions and history page, also the history section has also improved with better description and easier access to delete your search history in the cloud, and the more details page right here on the left has been removed. In the diagnostic and feedback page, you won't find new settings, but starting with version 2004, the page no longer includes the recommended troubleshooted settings. After installing the 2004 update, you will also notice that the delivery optimization settings page now includes new settings to throttle the bandwidth using absolute values. And this is available for foreground downloads and background downloads. Also, the backup settings is getting some minor tweaks to include an option to back up your files inside the desktop, documents, and picture folders to OneDrive. If you want to use this option, you can always click this link, and that will open the OneDrive experience where you can select the folders that you want to back up to the cloud. Or if you're already using this option, you can stop the backup too. Once you're done, just click the Start Backup button and your files will sync to the cloud. In the Troubleshoot settings, you will no longer find a list of troubleshooters to fix problems on Windows 10. However, they haven't been removed. Instead, they just been moved to a new page, as you can see right here. So if you have any issues with Windows 10, you can use this automated process to fix most of the problems. You can also, from this page, select the option how you want Windows 10 to fix problems automatically. In the recovery page, the Reset This PC feature has been updated with the new cloud download option that allows you to download a fresh copy of Windows 10 directly from the Microsoft servers instead of using the files locally available on your device. The option is available for the 2 different methods to reset your PC, which are resetting your PC, keeping your files, or removing everything on your device. So for example, if I want to keep my files, you'll see that now we have 2 choices, and one of them is a new cloud download option that allows you to download a fresh image from the Microsoft servers to reinstall Windows 10 and preserving your files. Of course, if you want to use the locally available image on your device, you can still do so, selecting the locally reinstall option. Once you select the option, you click next and the reset button, and you're good to go. There is a change settings here, but it allows you to decide whether to download the image from the Microsoft servers, but that defeats the purpose. Just click the next button and continue with the reset. So if you want to remove everything, the process is pretty much the same, but with the difference that when you go to the change settings page, you will get 2 options. One's to confirm that you want to download and reinstall Windows 10 with a fresh copy, which you want to leave that enabled, And you also have an option to erase the drive securely, which makes it harder to recover files if you're giving your computer away. But if you're simply rebuilding the device for yourself, you can leave this off, which will take a lot less time. Then just click confirm, click next, and the reset button to complete the task. When you're using the option to download Windows 10 from the cloud, it is not a process to upgrade your device. When you're using these options, you will reinstall the same build, version, and edition that is currently installed on your device. And that was a closer look on how the new cloud download option works on Windows 10. And all the settings available in the Settings app for Windows 10 version 2004. Starting with Windows 10 version 2004, Microsoft is extending the Windows Defender ATP functions beyond the operating system. And as a result, the company is renaming Windows Defender to Microsoft Defender. As you can see right here, now you will see that reference across the operating system to reflect that this is now a cross-platform approach endpoint security. The Notepad app is not getting a lot of improvements, but starting with this new feature update, the note-taking app now has the ability to restore unsaved content after installing an update. In addition, now the app will start receiving updates from the Microsoft Store, which means that Notepad will no longer depend on major releases of Windows 10 to get new features and improvements. If you're a Linux user also using Windows 10, you'll be happy to know that this new release includes the new Windows subsystem for Linux 2, which is a new version that runs the ELF64 Linux binaries, and it is now a virtual machine. This new architecture uses a real Linux kernel, and as a result, it changes the way that the Linux binaries interact with Windows 10 and hardware, while maintaining the same experience like in the previous version. According to Microsoft, this new version delivers faster file system performance and full system call compatibility, which lets you run more applications like Docker. In this new version, you will also be able to connect the Windows Subsystem for Linux version 2 networking applications using localhost. And finally, the WSL2 now includes a new global configuration options that you can apply to each distro. If you connect Bluetooth devices to your computer after this update, pairing will become a more straightforward process, as you will be able to pair devices directly from the notifications that you can see in the video without the need to open the Settings app. Also, the new feature adds a new dismiss button on the first notification to give you more control. And finally, to make the notification more useful, Windows 10 now shows the device name and category when possible, as you can see right here. Also, if you are still using the disk cleanup tool to free up space on Windows 10, starting with this new version, the tool will no longer have the option to empty the downloads folder to prevent accidental deletion of files in that folder when freeing up space. Finally, on Windows 10 version 2004, you will also find native support for network cameras to make it easier for developers to build security and safety machine learning based video analytics solutions. And that's pretty much all that's new with Windows 10 version 2004, which Microsoft may or may not call the April 2020 update or May 2020 update. Also remember to check the extensive written guide that includes everything we looked in this video and many more details. I will be leaving the link for this article in the video description below, alongside the links to other videos about this update, such as the video on how to upgrade or remove this new feature update if it is not working correctly on your computer. Remember to like the video and leave your comments, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet, and I just hope this video was informative for you, and I would like to thank you for viewing.